I've been holding off on doing a lot of pickup videos in the last couple of months, since basically I haven't picked up any video games per se, maybe two, and I'll show those. But for the most part, too, I haven't even shown what I got at Midwest Gaming Classic back in freaking what, March, April? No, yeah, had to be around that time. I can't even remember now. It's been a while, but as usual, Matt and I ended up getting a hotel, and I guess I'll just kind of get into that whole experience and everything now. But yeah, we got a hotel Saturday night, as we usually did about every other year. We didn't last year. We did again this year. Turned out it was the right thing to do, especially since we were going to have dinner with everybody. We thought it was going to be at the same place as last year, which we did try to. We had a reservation for. Things happened. Half of our crew unfortunately could not make it. They got there late, and we realized that after 8:30 they stopped letting people into the restaurant because they close at 9. So only half of us were there. The rest of us ended up having to go somewhere else, which was a real bummer to all of us that it just couldn't happen. But we know better for next year. It'll work out better then. I swear. At least I hope. It was a little frustrating for people, but aside from that, Matt and I also got to hang out with Captain Algebra, John Aguilera, Back in the Day Gamer, Bobby from Man Boy Cave, and got to meet Alex from Return to Mother Base. And I've been watching Alex for quite some time now, and I really enjoy his little talks and everything he does. His signature Diet Coke and all that stuff. So, and it turns out he's even better in person. We got along great, especially since him and I both are into shooters or shoot 'em ups, shmups. Yeah, yeah. Those that type of genre of game, which poor Bobby was not into. So we got to dog on him a little bit about that. But it was cool. It was a good night. Had some drinks, showed off what we got, did a little recording for Bobby on his channel. So check that out. You can see a little bit more of that. Plus the games that he got from me, especially with me curating everything that I've gotten. He was willing to take off quite a bit of my Genesis stuff off of me, which I'm happy to give to somebody who I know will appreciate them rather than just giving them to a store and who knows what happens to them afterwards. Not that I really care after getting rid of them, but hey, some of them had memories for me, some of them not so much. Some of them I got just because. And now that I'm paring things down, I've run out of room. I don't want to buy more shelves. I don't have room for the shelves. It just makes more sense to get rid of those games and keep exactly what I want. And I've talked about this before and kind of my goals for all that, and I'm still working on that. And it's going to be an active thing for a while, and especially now with the whole thing that Sony has mentioned that everybody's talking about, that in 2028 we will no longer have physical discs from them, and it's up in the air as to what happens with Microsoft and Nintendo, which has got some concerns I'll talk about after the pickups. So aside from that, we also got to hang out with Tiger Chainsaw a couple times, bumped into him, saw a lot of familiar faces we only get to see at the conventions. Got around to playing the arcades finally, some pinball games. Got my fix for trying out the new Pokemon pinball, which was okay. Not my thing. Now that Jersey Jack Sonic the Hedgehog one, on the other hand, I really would like, but that's way out of my price range for getting. Um, but hopefully I'll find a place that has it that I can actually check that out. Even though it'll be great right next to the Sonic arcade I do have. No dreams. Someday. Someday maybe. If I sold a couple organs and maybe most of my video game collection, I could probably wing it. But who knows? Some of the things are more important than that too right now. I've got a lot of things around the house I got to take care of, which always seems to be something breaking there. So aside from that, I guess I'll just go into the pickups too that from Midwest Gaming Classic. One of the big things I got that I was excited for, the voice actor for M. Bison and for Street Fighter 5 and 6 was there. So he signed my little amiibo card that I went out of my way to specifically get signed. I got a second one here on the other side. I gave him a choice of which one he wanted. He chose the first one. So I thought that was cool. I did have plans on having him sign a metal M. Bison $100 bill from Udon, and I decided against that. I thought the card would be easier to do something with and actually display. I was going to have him sign my copy of Street Fighter V, since I have that signed by other voice actors who did that game too, but I figured this is unique. Granted, it is a Nintendo Amiibo card. Other than that, John Riggs and John Hancock were also in attendance there, and great to see John Hancock. Been watching his progress through his chemo and everything, and it's always hard watching that, especially with my father had gone through that, and I've had a friend who went through chemo and all that stuff, and it's never fun. It's never fun to watch, but I'm glad he's making it through. Um, so that's good news. With John Riggs, though, I picked up his game Choo Choo Mimic on the Dreamcast, and he signed it for me down here at the bottom, over here. I thought that was cool. I don't get Dreamcast games signed very often, so that was cool. So another Dreamcast game for that collection. Castle Mania Games was also in attendance, and they're there every so often, but it was kind of interesting to see them there this year showing off the towel playing games and everything that they had. And I picked up one game. They had one last copy left, and they were using it as a kind of a playable demo to show off the game and everything. And they were willing to sell it to me, which was great. And he gave me a little bit of discount because it was open and not sealed. And it was one that I missed, and that is Slap Fight on the Sega Genesis. I'm actually a fan of their re-releases that they're doing on the Genesis, even though I don't have them all. Again, just getting the games that I enjoyed. This is one that kind of slipped through. And this is number 660 out of 300 or 3030. This includes a manual as well as a red translucent cart, which I'm a big fan of. The Valis games were really cool with their transparent, translucent cartridges. So there is the red Slap Fight cartridge, along with the nice glossy manual that comes in their releases. Big fan of that. So there is that. And then I know I said I was done at 450 Vita games. So you probably know what's coming. I ended up picking up 2, which pushes me to 452 games. Will I continue? Depends. One thing I would like was to finish the East Asia soft releases, because there was at least half of them I ended up skipping on. At the time of the release, I had told myself I'll only buy 1 out of the 2 or the 3 that they're releasing at a time. So I ended up kind of ignoring some of the other releases, and slowly, as I find them or come across them for a good deal, I will pick them up. And I traded in a couple games because there's one store in Madison, Lance, who owns Mega Media Exchange, or not Mega Media, Madison Video Game Exchange in Madison. I wish I frequent. Lance is an awesome guy to work with, by the way. I love going to his store and chatting with him and just hanging out. And he makes really good deals with me. So I ended up grabbing one East Asia soft release I did not have, Mercenary Kings. This is release number 21, and I think it's out of 130 some games that East Asia soft released. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly, but I just know this was not on my list that I had not had. And then this other game, I had a chance to buy the PAL version at a store. They had it for super cheap, but it was also because the art on it was super waterlogged, did not look great, and when I brought it to the counter, they could not find the game card. And I wasn't interested in just buying the case, so I had to pass on it. So I ended up finding the Japanese version at Midwest Gaming Classic, and that is Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, which unfortunately does not have the English subtitles that the European release has. But for the most part, it's complete. It's missing one flyer, really, that I've seen in other pictures, but the card is there. And with the rising prices of Vita games right now and how hard they are or difficult to really find anywhere, it was kind of surprising. Matt had even noticed when we were walking around, people were asking for Vita games at the convention. And a lot of people did not have them, or they did. It was a very small selection of them. As opposed to even 2 years ago, there was a lot of vendors that I saw that had Vita games, but they all had kind of the same ones, and it was only 5 or 6 games maybe in total. So it's kind of interesting that people are going around trying to collect Vita now after some time, and they're becoming harder and more difficult to really find. I kind of feel for people who are even attempting to go for half of the released games, which, I mean, in the US, we had 150, 200 and some odd games on Vita. I don't remember how many were actually released in the US anymore. I'll have to go back and count on the shelves. But yeah, I can't. It's got to be more than that because I can't imagine I have 200 import games. That doesn't seem right. Anyway, that's neither here or there. But just the fact that Vita is now starting to rise, or to people or people are becoming more aware of Vita stuff. I just think it was interesting. Those are the pickups for Midwest Gaming Classic. Aside from that, I did pick up 2 extra games. One actually was gifted to me from a friend, Mutt. I don't know if she'll ever see this, but I do appreciate she actually got me a copy of Yakuza 3 Dark Ties, which this game does have some controversy for the recasting and some of the voice actors that were chosen, mostly the Japanese VAs for this game. I'm not going to get too much into it, but just because I do want to collect it, and I've been getting the Yakuza series on Xbox, so it's nice that I now have all of them officially on Xbox physically. I do look forward to jumping into this. I actually just finished Director's Cut, which was okay. There was some minor changes to it, but not a whole lot, which I was kind of surprised at. Did run a little better than the PlayStation 4 version, so kind of interesting or interested to play Dark Ties more than anything, just to get a different character and different story or their perspective of the story. And then lastly, I picked up or imported from PlayAsia Corpse Party Tetralogy Pack. I actually ended up selling my copy of Corpse Party that I had sealed on Nintendo 3DS. Just never picked it up. And then when this game was supposed to come to the West, it got canceled. I believe it was Marvelous that was working on it, but of course, Nintendo's silly, don't have adult games or has too much blood and gore in it. Not good, but you had to import it. So thankfully, this does have English support for it. So I have all 4 games now that I do have a way of playing. So it just is what it is. Now, aside from that, kind of related to convention stuff, kind of not. Kind of related to video games, but not a video game. And that is, of course, everybody, if you go to a convention, one of the worst things to ever happen is if you're looking at a game, somebody comes over next to you and they desperately need a shower. It's the worst. And there needs to be more signs that says that deodorant is not an option. But I didn't pick up deodorant, but I did pick up the next best thing, which was soap. For Sonic's 35th anniversary, the Squatch soap had a collaboration with Sega. They released a deodorant and a bar of soap with Sonic. So I picked up 2 of these. So just for purposes, which it's kind of funny. I mean, it smells pretty good, to be honest. So I got that. Just thought it was kind of fun for it. There's not a whole lot to it. The backside here it has a little description. Doc's notes: lather up this cold process soap and scrub down daily, coated for all skin types. Dr. Squawkinich, which I think is funny. Yeah, they had a little deal going on for that stuff, so I wanted to grab it. I haven't gotten a whole lot for Sonic's 35th anniversary, which, by the way, happy birthday to the Hedgehog. Still a big fan. Will continue to probably be a fan for the rest of my life. Um, so I don't really have anything else in regards to the birthday. But other than that, that pretty much sums up everything. Um, Aside from my frustrations with the current, gotta breathe. A lot of people are talking about that Sony cutting production on physical discs in 2028. Really makes you wonder what's going to happen in the future. Aside from that, I'm also concerned hardware wise what's coming down the line, especially coming from a person in the IT field, not just physical games, but the hardware itself. RAM prices have increased 2-3 fold and don't show signs really coming down until 2030, even. On top of that, storage, such as solid state hard drives, have gone up significantly. With game consoles, PCs, and all that needing that hardware right now, it makes them super expensive. It kind of makes me worried going forward if you were to get a PlayStation 6, even if you decided you wanted to go digitally and you're okay with the physical discs not being a thing, which is perfectly fine. There's people who will like that. I know people who said if they didn't buy the Series X, they would have gone with the Series S because of the convenience of having digital games and not having the games on the shelves and sitting around. I get that. People prefer that. For us hardcore gamers, it's completely the opposite. We like having our physical media. I can see it both ways. No problem. People have a problem against key cards. You can still sell key cards. Yes, it doesn't have the game on the card itself, but you still have that license. There is still a physical element to it. Granted, I don't own a place or a Switch 2, nor do I intend on getting one. Regardless if people think Switch is my favorite console of all time. Don't. Um, but I'm more concerned if I were to ever get a PlayStation 6 and I decide I want to upgrade. I'm spending a whole lot more money to upgrade that solid state drive in that system on top of it. So you also are looking at the upgrade price for that, especially if in 2 or 3 years a 2 terabyte solid state hard drive isn't going to be enough for your digital libraries. Games these days can take 56 gigabytes, 70 gigabytes. In the future, especially 3 years from now, they could be pushing 100 and some odd gigabytes if they're not already. And that's if you not including DLC, extra things that you may want, any of that stuff. So I'm really concerned about just that element itself, the upgradability to them, the storage capacity for all these games. It's going to be interesting, but that's just my take on it. I haven't really heard a lot of people kind of show concern for storage capacity wise, especially like even right now, capacity wise or storage space on your PlayStation 5 even to me doesn't seem enough. I have 1 terabyte. Yeah, you can upgrade it, not as easily, especially with the prices now for SSDs that are compatible with the PlayStation 5. It's a little rough. Um, and I hope that changes in some way soon, but I don't foresee that in the next probably 4 or 5 years even. Well, that's just my concerns. And do with that as you wish. Condone me, say I'm silly. Physical games don't matter. I don't care. It's just my thing. And if that's the point, I mean, yeah, I can start gaming more on PC, but I probably will never buy another console. So that's kind of where I stand. But enough prattling from me. I won't rant on any longer about that stuff or concerns. I'm sure people have heard plenty of others complaining about the physical discs being discontinued from Sony in 2028. Yes, I agree with them. We should at least show Sony that we're interested in physical. It's the only way to turn things around. But on the other hand, maybe it's already too late. So that's it for now. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.